gradually we'll go on. Okay. Okay. So see, we'll start from the basics. So computing, say, we have the program and the programming. Program is what? If I write some simple program and if I saved on a secondary storage, that is a program. Okay. Some statements that we have, that is a program. Suppose if I ask you have to write a program for addition of two numbers. So if by using any programming language, okay. So you have written by using C language or CPP language. You will save it as a .cpp that will be saved on your secondary storage. We will compile it, we will get object file, but again that is saved on the secondary storage, right? When processor run it, when we actually run that, so that code comes to the object file will come to the RAM or main memory and processor takes code from there, right? So program is a stationary file, right? Static file, stationary file. When program is in execution, so that we call programming, right? That is called as the execution, right? When it is get executed, and that is called as a process. Process means what exactly? Program in execution, that is called as a process. So something processing, from there we have the word computing. Computing and processing, alternatively we use that word. So there are different types of computing, different types of processing also you can say. Desktop computing, client server computing, cluster computing, grid computing, cloud computing. So see, almost all of us, we have heard the name cloud computing, but suppose someone asks, we have to define the cloud computing, then it is very difficult to tell, right? So we'll see how that cloud computing, cloud, that word we got, how we have the term cloud computing, from where we got that. So all these types of computing we will see. And what are the web technology that we use? This is a part of client server computing. Okay, so one by one we'll go. Whatever the computation that you are doing on a single machine, that is called as a desktop computing. Okay, on single machine. What are the programming that you are doing? That is called as a desktop computing. Now see, your single machine has the limited number of resources. It has a limited RAM. It has a limited processor speed, right? So one single machine has a limited resources. So in some cases we require resources, okay, higher resources, right? Higher end resources we require. We require larger RAM, larger processing power. So our client, our machine is not sufficient for that. So we are asking for the higher resources. So from where we get that resources? From a server. So server basically it is a machine with the higher resources, large number of resources. So we are taking service from the server. So this is called as the client server computing, right? We have the multiple clients, multiple machines, and those are taking service from the one bigger machine, machine with the higher resources. So from there we got this term client server computing. So basically this is a client server architecture, computation or computing over a client server, that is called as the client server computing. Then we have next term that is called as the cluster computing. Now see, in client server computing, there is one more limitation. So see, these are the multiple clients and they are taking service from the server. But server again it is a machine. So machine means again that it will have some limited number of resources, right? So maybe suppose 10 clients are accessing server, then it is okay. 20 clients are accessing, still it is okay. But suppose there are 100 clients, 1000 clients, 10,000 clients. So see, server again it is a machine. So for server it will not be possible to respond or to provide service to the multiple number of clients, right? That is a limitation of client server computing. So single server is not sufficient. In that case, we have to use group of server, and that is called as a cluster. So in cluster, we don't have a single server machine. We have the multiple servers. We have the multiple servers. Here you can see. And that multiple server, that is called as a cluster. And these clients, they are taking service from the cluster. This is called as a cluster architecture, and computation over a cluster, that is called as a cluster computing. Now see, we have next terminology, that is a grid computing. Now look at this. Again, we are coming to the client server computing. See, this is the one client server architecture, right? Multiple clients, they are taking service from the one server. Multiple client, they are taking service from the one server, right? One example I will give. See, uh, we have roaming, right? So if you move to the another state, we get the roaming charges, right? So see, our mobile phones. So consider this is our mobile phone, and our whole data means our balance, your personal data, biodata, okay, whole information is saved in some server. So we are staying in Maharashtra. So in our Maharashtra Goa circuit, that information is saved. Suppose we have moved to Bangalore, Karnataka. Now see, we move to Bangalore. So we are accessing their network, right? As soon as we go to Karnataka circuit, or as soon as you land in Bangalore, you will get a message roaming, right? Now see, you are connected to the network in Karnataka circuit, right? See, you are from the Maharashtra. Your whole data is saved in Maharashtra server. You have moved to the Bangalore, Karnataka, another circuit, another network, right? Your whole data is in Maharashtra server, but Karnataka server, from there you are getting the message. You have entered into the or welcome to the Karnataka circuit. You will get the roaming charges. This is your balance, something like that. So how Karnataka server is getting information from the Maharashtra server? Because see, Maharashtra server, Karnataka server, all these circuit server, they are connected together. They are exchanging information. So from that, see, our Maharashtra server is sending our information to the Karnataka server, whatever our balance or biodata, all that information will get exchanged to the Karnataka server. And from Karnataka server, we are getting that message, right? So in this case, these servers are connected together, right? These servers are connected together. So when we have the multiple client server architecture and the servers are connected together, servers are exchanging information. So such kind of architecture is called as a grid. Such kind of architecture is called as a grid. Here, our servers are connected together. They are exchanging some information, right? This is called as a grid, and computation over a grid is called as a grid computing. Okay. Now that is a big cloud computing. So from where we got the cloud, you see, no, many times we use this word cloud computing, but what is basically cloud? So if we combine cluster and grid architecture together, it becomes a cloud. See, again I repeat, if we combine cluster and grid computing together, it become a cloud. And how this cloud computing got popular? So see, we have many multinational companies like Google and Amazon. So what they have done, they have set up their data center almost in every country, right? Almost every region, every continent, right? So they have a lot of resources, and their resources, they have made the resources more than their need, whatever requirements they had. So they have created, they have established, they have set up resources more than their need. They had more number of resources. So see what happens is, suppose I have two flats and one flat is sufficient for me. So what I will do, another flat I will give on rent, right? So same thing companies have done. This Amazon, Google, Microsoft, what these companies have done, whatever the extra resources they had, they started giving on rent. And from there we have this popular concept, that is a cloud computing. We are taking services from the cloud. So you might have learned that cloud computing, we have the different types of service, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, you might be knowing that. What type of service we are taking from the cloud service provider. So based on that, we have the types, right? SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, whether you are taking software as a service, or infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service. So based on that, there are the different types. But basically, we are taking the service from one cloud service provider, right? So cloud means it is the architecture which is the combination of cluster and grid. Combinedly, we have this concept of cloud. Okay. So why we are learning all these things? So see, in the beginning, I have told we have 5 different types of computing: desktop, client server, cluster, grid, and cloud. Our web technology comes in client server computing. Okay, we follow this architecture, client server architecture. That is sufficient architecture. Okay, for our web technology, it is a sufficient one. Okay. Now see, this is a general picture. This is our machine on which this is a computer, or it can be a mobile phone or anything, right? This is the machine. Here we are taking the service from the server. So this is our this we call as a client, right? We are taking as a service, and this is the server from where we are taking the service. On server we have web server. So see, whatever the Gmail, Google, Reddit Mail, Yahoo, whatever the websites that we are accessing, all those websites, they are running constantly running on one server, and from there we are accessing it, right? So this is our client. Suppose I'm on my laptop, suppose I'm accessing those services from any server. So I'm the client and I'm taking service from some server. On that server, there is a web server. There can be Tomcat, there can be Apache, there can be Glassfish, there can be WebSphere. Any web server is running there. On that web server, there are some programs running and that we are accessing on our client. Now see, we are making a request and we are getting the response. Request we are sending, we are getting a response. Here we are using a protocol that is a HTTP. Full form is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We will see what is the meaning of hypertext. Okay, but currently for this time we are using HTTP as a protocol to send the request and we are getting the response.